I'm up at the crack of dawn to join a club that's connecting men across the country.
Siobhan.
David,
Hey.
hello.
How are you? Pleased to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you at this early time.
Yeah.
It's called When No One's Watching. And it was started by mates David Eccles and former Sydney Swans player Tadhg Kennelly.
Really looking forward to today.
As Irish expats, these two have known each other for years.
I came over here 16 years ago, 2008, and Tadhg was the hero, you know, so we used to pay our admission fee to go into the Swans, and he had bigger shoulders and bigger arms back then. And,
and more hair.
Yeah, and more hair. We all had more hair.
And their group isn't just about exercise.
WNOW, when no one's watching, is about helping men be better. It's trying to eradicate loneliness. We know loneliness leads to depression, and we know what depression leads to. So it's a bunch of men trying to be better and trying to help each other be better.
WNOW has more than 400 members and chapters across Australia. But for David and Tadhg, it started from a place of personal need.
I was really busy in 2019. This was pre-COVID, right? And I had loads of friends and I had social circles here. I was in committees here, work was here, life was going busy. But deep down, I just felt really unfulfilled.
David remembers a particular night. It was just after Christmas in 2019. He was surrounded by his family, and yet he felt alone.
I was thinking, I can't go on like this. I just can't go on anymore. I kept my problems in here, by the way, as well. I wasn't speaking to people around it, but I was going, what's driving this unhappiness? And it was really loneliness. I really, really boiled it down to loneliness.
Mountain climbers, lads.
Clinical psychologist Dr. Michelle Lim leads the organisation Ending Loneliness Together. They recently surveyed 4,000 Australians aged 18 to 92. 1 in 3 people reported being lonely.
Loneliness is often referred to as a silent epidemic because it is not observable to the third person. It is about a subjective feeling of distress that comes about when you feel your relationships do not meet your current social needs.
Meanwhile, Tadhg was going through his own struggles. He'd spent more than a decade playing AFL before returning to the Sydney Swans as a coach. But in May 2020, Tadhg was publicly stood down due to the AFL's COVID-19 cutbacks.
I wasn't in a great place mentally. It was pretty dark. I didn't want to leave the house, and my wife's looking at her husband that's supposed to be this guy that's supposed to help and protect and take care and communicate, which I was doing none of that. And I was just shutting myself out of the world, and I didn't want to get out of the house.
Did you feel like you could talk about your emotions with anyone?
Nah. As an athlete, even still today, you're brought up to show no emotion, to show no weakness. I had no network, I had no security to help me, and I just didn't know how to deal with it, which was extremely difficult.
And then David showed up and he's...
My knight in shining armour.
They began reshaping their friendship, swapping Friday nights watching footy at the pub for cafes and deeper conversations.
Yeah, we were doing it in coffee shops for the first 6 months, but he never buys a coffee, so it was cheaper to do exercise on the beach than to buy him coffee every week. You know? So that was the birth of WNOW.
Each week, the club starts with a warm-up on the sand.
It's the hardest session I've ever done.
All right, lads, pull it in really tight here.
Then there's a circle of trust where men share their highs and lows.
Fantastic opportunity to step forward and introduce yourself. If you want to get something off your chest, it's completely confidential, completely non-judgmental.
We see a lot of guys like showing their vulnerability in the group that would never show vulnerability in their life.
As men, we're fixers, you know, but nobody gives answers in the circle. We just listen.
So we do the 60 push-ups for the 60 men that have lost their life to suicide every hour around the world, okay? It just brings us back to why we come and why we're here.
For some of the members, this hits close to home.
Sadly, about 3 or 4 months ago, my half-brother committed suicide. I don't want to get emotional, but I was in tears in a circle when my brother died. And I was doing push-ups, and the people just knew around me what I was going through. And just to have someone put their hand on your shoulder is just it's so good.
One of my best mates committed suicide. And so it's about 6 months ago, and I was just devastated. I didn't know what to do, who to talk to. And I could sort of hear it in his voice that things were going wrong. But I think we just lost touch. And so there's a real sense of guilt and shame on my part that I wasn't there for it. So coming here and being around a group of guys, it's like a pressure release.
After the exercise, there's an icy ocean plunge, followed by coffee and chats. For David and Tadhg, these moments of connection are more important than the exercise.
You can just see the contagious effect of people sharing stories. It might be sleep, it might be anxiety, it might be marriage, it might be work, it might be whatever, but it's a weight that just goes off your shoulders when you share your story.
Wayne has only been with the group for a few weeks, but already it's made an impact.
My partner's been recently given 6 months to live, so I've given up work. I'm retired, 51 years of age, to look after her and take her up and down the coast and do whatever I can to make the best of her dying days. And the guys have been really good here, and they've been really supportive, and I couldn't ask for much more.
While WNOW's members range from 7 to 84 years old, most of the men are in their 40s and 50s. Through the club, David and Tadhg inspire men to drop their armour and show their emotions. But they know just how difficult that can be.
We've been typecast, or we've been told that it's weak to speak. You have to man up, you have to keep your emotions here. You got to be strong for your wife, for your family. My father is absolutely my hero, but growing up in the north of Ireland was quite difficult. We went through a civil war over there, so the guys did just want to escape their problems, whereas now I want to be a different father, I want to be a different mate, I want to be a different husband.
Throughout this morning, there was a sense of fun and camaraderie between the guys, but chatting to them afterwards, I suppose I was surprised that so many have gone through some really traumatic times, and it's this group, this community that has helped them feel less alone.